So let's network. Welcome everybody. It's so good to see whoever has joined us today for this amazing summit that we did. And I want to get the names right because I don't have it in front of me on the screen. So it's Building Back Stronger for Today and for Our Future. I got to tell you guys, today was an amazing day, but this is all about networking. So as you come in or not, if you watch this in the future, let's connect. Reach out to us, whether it's on LinkedIn. Dr. Gil-Garcia, an amazing woman and a powerhouse in the education community, besides everywhere in the world. She's just a game changer. And Luis Chavez, who's also an amazing leader out of California and making impact across the country. And then we got Julia, who joined us, who's another powerhouse beast. Oh my God, she's so amazing. Hi, Julia. And hopefully you're feeling better. But yeah, this is just time for networking. I just wanted to welcome everybody. And as other people come in, whoever wants to talk, talks. And that's all this is. It's all natural. How about you, Julia? What would you like to say? How are you feeling about the conference and the summit?
I loved it. And although I didn't get a chance to answer the question that we had in our last session, what I thought LULAC could do to help, right, further the cause. And I think it's doing this, having conversations like this, in some way even connecting it to youth so that youth can see all of these faces that look like them doing amazing things and crusading on their behalf so that their future can be better. And I think, you know, the more often we have this, the more people we bring in, the more initiatives we start, the more people we link with and say, hey, let's do something together. Like, that's how you really get something started. You know, it's allowing for the space to people to connect and to do the work.
Yeah. So I see Diana Alfaro on the side here. So you guys should know Diana Alfaro is another amazing Latina. Hey, Diana, she is leading at the state of Illinois on Latino small businesses. And she came from academia and just like threw herself in there. And when I met her, she was only a few weeks old on a job. She's done such outstanding work and delivery, guys, of information to Latino small businesses and nonprofits on grants, access. I've never met anybody as insane and committed as she is. So I just wanted you guys to meet Diana. I wish I could see her face on here. So you guys can connect with her, but Diana Alfaro is with the state of Illinois.
Let me suggest something, Letty. I just did it in the earlier session with Caroline and the wonderful presentation done by those wonderful young people. I think I was following their lead and they were sharing their LinkedIn, and I went ahead and did it. And in the process, I've been now connected with Diadora Antonio or something like that from we actually here from California, so we don't know each other, but she works for one of the community colleges here in California, and she was like, you know, this amazing resource for her, LULAC for one, but then she and I have been connecting because she needs some help in the area of work that I'm somewhat of a subject matter expert working with California community colleges. So there's so much that can happen if we just step out and reach out to each other. And I just hope that, you know, we should all put our LinkedIns in the chat right now. So
I already did it, and Julia did it.
Great
idea. And then you got Pedro, who's on here, who was on the other session. I saw him for a few minutes before I had to jump onto this one. Pedro David Espinosa, right? And you know, I wish they could talk, but if they can't, put in the chat you guys think, you know, any comments that you have. Oh, here, he's coming on. Okay, great. Unmute yourself if you want to.
Hey, Letty, good to see you.
Good to meet you virtually.
I know, likewise.
So tell us what you thought, Pedro, about overall, or, you know, this is networking, so let's just, you know, hang out.
Oh, I thought it was great. I love the positivity and the environment. And with Caroline, I always love the focus on unity, right? La unión hace la fuerza. So I think that's what we need. And we have a lot to learn from other communities. I think the Black African-American community is extremely united, and their numbers have done really well the last 3 years in terms of like board of members, board of directors numbers and stuff like that. So there's a lot of room for improvement for us.
Pedro, with the work that you do in Silicon Valley and the book and the 200 CEOs you've interviewed, and a plug for your book, quite frankly, how can you share through our committee as advisor is, those statistics, the conversations you're having with CEOs, why are they not bringing us to the table? Why are they dropping us from the table in many cases these days? We are volunteers and we need people that are in the field every day having these conversations. We should find a mechanism to get those messages from Silicon Valley to the whole country through LULAC.
Thank you, Caroline. I would say two things. Number one, we have to be bold. We have to be outspoken. And I see this all the time. I work with Blue Shield, Google, Dell, Adobe, and you see high-ranked Latinas and Hispanics and Latinos in leadership, but many of them, not all, are not as bold, or many of them don't aspire to be like something higher, right? That's number one. And number two, I think we're not united. Like there's lack of unity. I'm just being very candid. And that's why it's good for us to team up together, right? I think I was telling you, Caroline, but like ever since like all these current events have happened, there's been a great push for African-American and Black like people to get into corporate boards, which is great. But I feel like the Latinos have been completely forgotten, like on the back burner for sure. So we need to step up.
Yeah. I'd like to comment on that because, years ago, there was this interview by this guy who was on the Hilton board. He just happened to be Latino, I think he was Puerto Rican. And he said that when he would see these white male boards and he would go to these entities or to the board members and he'd say, hey, where's the Latino representation? And they would say to him, we just can't find them. And I'm like, my God, we're the fastest growing population. So there's excuses. And then I've done some research there. And one of the hottest things that I've learned is that, and I spoke to a woman who has a board entity, and a white woman, and she said that boards would never hire us as small business owners to be on the boards because we are not of the C-suite of corporate America. And I thought, oh my God, that's terrible. Well, we need to change that. So I think it's a matter of not just opening our mouths, but educating the entities, corporate and federal, right? That small business owner leaders should and can be on those boards, because some of those small businesses created bigger businesses, but we have so much value.
Absolutely. And that's the intent and the purpose and the goal for this expansion of committee work, from just a voice, an advisor role, to being intentional, proactive, to expanding the focus from the traditional education, which is still critically important. But then what does education mean? There's an informal education, there's an education in entrepreneurship, there's education in the spaces that are missing, computer science. So this new committee is to elevate that, but not without side by side joining forces with the 90-year committee with Luis and Ana and so forth. But being in the trenches, not from the DC office alone, we do need that voice elevated in the White House, in Congress. But really what LULAC's about is in the trenches, in the field, in the corporate, in the government, in the schools, in the playgrounds, in the churches. So that's what we want to have, a concerted voice and message and movement, and to really inspire the young Latinos and Latinas that may not even know this is happening. And that's too often we say we're preaching to the choir. How do we get outside of preaching to the choir? That's my question. How do we do it?
We got to demand it. We have to call them to the table, because our dollars combined is so massive to the economic engine. But if we don't find the ways of point of entry, and even writing letters directly to the CEOs, I don't know about you guys, but I've done this probably 3 or 4 times throughout my career. But when I've had issues, whatever they were, with a corporation and maybe local management wasn't handling it, I'd be like, okay, I'm done. I'm just going to write a letter to the CEO. By the way, I'm going to copy his chief marketing officer. I'm going to copy his chief operating officer. And then I'm going to say, oh, by the way, and let me tell you who I am, because I also have a voice in the network. And then I always got a great result, sometimes within 24 hours. And I think if we use that type of process and not think, oh, well, I talked to this manager, forget that. They're not listening. We just got to go to the top. We deserve to do it. And again, we have to learn from what Morenos are doing.
Yeah, so I would say, Caroline, we have to go out our comfort zones, right? And go where our people are. So I'm based in California, I think Luis, you too. So we have to go to places like Oakland, East Palo Alto, East San Jose, right? You guys know the neighborhoods in Chicago where there are a lot of
Yes.
Hispanic, Black and brown kids, right? Same thing in Washington, DC, same thing in Boston. Of course, if we talk to
Wherever you
people
go.
in tech, I mean, I work in tech, we know this, but we have to go for the next generation of kids, of leaders.
How do we create a brand of coalition building so that it's not like this group is doing this and this group is doing that and I want it to be the one and so forth? I mean, we're really fragmented and it's hurting us. And then LULAC is really not about any one organization. We're all volunteers. I mean, if there's going to be an organization to represent everybody, it's going to be a group like LULAC that's grassroots civil rights members from all walks of life. But I don't think that story's been told. I don't think in our history books it's been told. I don't think the kids even know about it. They, the adults don't know about it. So we've got to get our story of what LULAC stands for. It's not the organization per se. It's the history of civil rights and the grassroots members that it represents. And that alone hasn't been told. What do you think, Luis?
I think that, that's what I was trying to get at in our earlier conversation when we had our discussion about the committee work, that I'm hoping that with Ana working together, the two of us can really chart a new course for the committee work, because it's not just, I was really serious about not getting involved with committee activity work. We really need to elevate the conversation to a higher level, but I don't mean that to say that we elevate it and not have it connected. It's quite the opposite. We need it to be connected to the councils, to the districts, to the states. So I have a number of colleagues that work in Silicon Valley and here in the Bay Area and in the Bay Tech area that are in the CSR business, right? Or the CSM, the customer service relation platforms. And I'm really interested in figuring out a way, how can we use technology to connect local grassroots work within LULAC and connect it across the board? Because right now, what's happening is I'm starting to learn more about what LULAC is doing across the country. I'm completely blown away by such great work that the councils are doing, but it's not known. It's not known. It might be known locally or even in the state. Like Alicia, it's just amazing work that she does. But I think it needs to go beyond the states. It needs to go at a national level. And I think that might be a role that our committee work can really take on.
Well, I'd like to take all that that's being said right now and really put it in the hands of the young next generation leaders, current leaders like Pedro, like Abril, like Julia, and for us to be there with them, but for the voices coming from them in as far as they've got many decades of careers and voices and impact. And that will be what will draw more young groups, because too often, it's like I said, we want our color to be in classroom, our Latinos. The same with the voice of our LULAC. It has to be more than the traditional activists that have been around since the 60s and 70s and 80s, and that me included. We're here to open the doors, not to be the ones at the front line. So I challenge and I welcome and I invite every Latina leader who wants to be the new face for LULAC with us together. You don't have to have been with LULAC 20, 30 years like me. It could be like this summit, this event, and our job is to rise your level, your voice, so that we can elevate and you can bring other voices to it. That's my call. I don't think we've done that enough. We're here to talk about what have we not done well, what can we do better? And I think that's where LULAC can really, we're the youngest group. The average age is what? I don't know offhand, but that's my thoughts. My thought is to be the committee members, but have ambassadors, have leaders, have sponsors to be the reverse. People like Pedro and Julia and Abril. What do you think, Pedro? Are you up for that? Having a group chat and having a discussion to make a proposal?
Too, Caroline.
Who is?
Ana.
Ana, please. Well, let me have a couple minutes, and then I'd like for Ana to share her ideas, because she has a long history of lifting others and young educators that have now become principal superintendents and so forth. So just really walk that talk. So Pedro, just a last comment, and then Ana, please.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the group chat so we can plan. I'm a doer. I'm really not a thinker or planner. I just get things done. So like I told you, Caroline, I think starting these local virtual events in different cities and regions, showcasing role models, us partnering together, sharing it on LinkedIn and social media can really take LULAC to the next level. So
Fabulous. Ana, you have an incredible history with doing exactly as I described within your field, within your practice. And you don't see that happening in universities. You know, there's a lot of issues, a lot of policies that are preventing it. We've got to break that mold. And you've been able to do it, go around that system and those rules that aren't working for us.
Yeah, thank you, Caroline, for that. And, I think that we had that conversation many times about, just forming our next generation of leaders. Definitely that's something that, we've been very intentional about, just making sure that, because I always say, nosotros no vamos a durar toda la vida, right? So it's really just looking for the level of expertise that we have in our younger generation right now. Look at Pedro, look at Julia. There are many younger generation that has been, I think that they have been forced to grow very fast. So they have really lived in conditions that we haven't really been experienced in the past. I think one of the major peak in the history is going to be, the pandemic. There is no question about that. And I think that the whole time that we were just in our own niches, in our own homes, trapped, that really created a lot of reflection and a lot of individual energy, just to see what is that you have contributed, with your future generations. And I do believe that, every time that I see, young people just doing extraordinary things, I think that we're looking into, the new president of the United States. We're looking into the new senator in the United States. I mean, so we have a lot. So and that's really what really I believe that I'm energized sometimes, because I see, the younger Ana in those, and I believe that the younger Caroline.
Yes,
so we have many dreams in the past, and I think I feel blessed that I was be able to to accomplish many of the things that I have accomplished in my life. And I don't think that my work is done yet, but I do believe that every time that you take somebody, under your wing, that will create, that potential mentor, and the coaching that those generations need. And I believe that in some point, LULAC is going to have to stop and say, okay, let's create a youth force with all these young professionals, and then it's going to be our role to start creating the succession plan to bring them into our committees, and to bring them, just to create another committees. Why not? But it has to be very intentional leadership coming from LULAC. I think LULAC is very well known for its traditionalism. I think that we are in this history, the summit today really demonstrated that we are not really the traditional minds anymore. We are really moving forward, and we're moving forward. If you want to be behind, you just be there. But I don't think this is the reaction from this summit.
I agree. This summit shows it differently. And Luis is my co-chair and partner in crime. What are your thoughts? Is this session coming to an end? And yes, it was.
Caroline, can I jump in for 1 second? Can we ask Jorge if he could, because I've been messaging him, can he take the people from the side and let them in?
Yeah, that's what I've been asking the same.
Yeah, because if he can do that, they're chatting and we're not getting to them. I even know it's great we're talking.
Yes, absolutely. I've been asking the same. So Luis, while they do that, please, Luis.
Yes, thank you, Caroline. And this has been a great discussion. I was hoping that we could see everybody, but I think the way that's the networking is set up.
Yes, I
people can-
apologize.
Yeah, so anyways, I hope that you're engaging in the chat, because I'm seeing a lot of people on the chat engaging, and I'm really happy that there's been people that have been following us from the beginning. Alicia is one of them, and I can see her now joining us here. So I'm really happy that you're here, Alicia, because I think the voices of the grassroots, the people that are doing the work at the local level, it's really, I'm excited about doing things a little bit different and reaching out and connecting with people. So all the people that came today to speak, to be on a panel, there's a new level of energy that I think was what our hope was, Caroline. I think that your vision was to kind of set a new course, a new day, using Letty's word, the new dawn. I think we accomplished at least some of that, and building the momentum and picking it up and moving from here will be that much more important to make sure that we can get to the place where we all need to get, because this pandemic is going to be with us, believe it or not. I mean, I'm reading reports that get ready for hybrid life to come.
Forever.
I mean, it's not going to stop. So
Yeah.
we need to take advantage of it.
Before we
Thank you.
go to anybody-
Julia's been raising her hand.
Caroline, before we go to anybody, we do have someone that's not part of the panel system. Alicia Pagan, can we give her a few minutes? Because we only have 5 minutes left.
Go ahead, Alicia. You've been a great friend of LULAC and an elected officer for the great state of Ohio. So thank you for joining us throughout the day. Amazing messages. Please give us your
And we'll get
thoughts,
you in, Julia.
and then
Okay.
Julia will follow.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Alicia.
thank you all. Please forgive the face, but I'm home from school actually today because I wasn't feeling well because of this lovely pandemic that we're in.
Oh.
But despite that, I feel absolutely, as always, when I come to my LULAC family, energized and thrilled to be here today. So, you know, you take your blessings where you get them. My students will do fine online today because they're all finishing up their ofrenda projects. So, so thank you for giving me this moment, because everything that everybody has talked about is the absolute gospel of where we're at in this moment. And as an educator who is fired up by these wonderful young Latino voices who have their finger on the pulse of what's going on in our country right now, please continue to do what you're doing. My students, I teach 9th through 12th grade, but I teach on the college level too. But my students are so hungry to see your faces and hear your stories, because they know caca when they see it. And they have seen too many years of educational caca. And so my students have been learning how to step outside of that caca, wipe it off your shoe, and then you keep walking, because you're going to open that door up for the next person. I want to hear more about how we're going to help our LGBTQ community, because our students are suffering because people still don't understand how to see them. Not just hear them, but see them. And our adults are afraid to see them. How do we combat that? We educate. And that's why LULAC's new vision for educating the community from the ground up, from our children to our elders, is absolutely important. What we witnessed as community members in this pandemic, to me, was beyond horrific. And not only from the numbers of death, but the way we as human beings responded to this. So many stories of beautiful communities coming together, but so many tragic stories of communities still standing apart. Elders afraid to go out in their communities because they're still not nurtured and supported. So this is how critical this moment is, but this is how powerful this moment is. So this evening, when we go to our LULAC scholarship event, oh my goodness, do I have words to share of encouragement about the beautiful people who gathered here today. So thank you for allowing me to share this space with you. And thank you for continuing to lift our voices, because that's where the obstacle is. We know we're here. We just don't have enough in those seats of power that are ready to recognize that we are here as valuable contributing members of our society.
Thank you, Alicia. We're not asking anymore. We're just gonna just show up.
Oh, hell no.
Showing up. Julia, please. You had your hand up.
I think if LULAC has that one initiative, right, that one national initiative, and that's technology, and yes, I'm biased because I've been in technology for a while, but that's also the vehicle that's going to help people come out of poverty, right? These jobs pay a lot of money, and they can help change the trajectory of entire families all at once. But if it was that one initiative, and that initiative tackled things like policies that limit and exclude us, if they tackle the education systems, and especially our marginalized populations, right? And then it educated the parents so that it is a normal thing in the household. And we looped in all of these organizations, we can make a humongous change, and not just a one that's going to take time and eventually get us there, but one that's going to move us immediately. And then when we do that, we have to market it. We have to have these events. We have to celebrate loudly. We can't sit here and say like, oh, people are going to think that, you know, I'm bragging. Yes, brag for everybody, because the more you do that, the more students, the more young people, the more people my age and older see people like us and think, I can do that. She looks just like I do. She grew up in the same neighborhood I did, or one like it. Right? She had the same limitations that I had, and she made it. That means I can make it. We have to be those beacons of change. We have to hold the light and let people follow. And you can only do that when you use your voice and you use it loudly.
Oh, that's so good. Real quick,
Bravo.
Deidre, did you want to say anything? I know you joined us. And man, you guys, this is so inspiring. I mean, let's gotta get a microphone for everybody.
I'm just super inspired by all the stories and everybody taking that initiative, and to learn that all the board members are volunteers. That is like when can I volunteer?
Today.
Yeah, we'll
Like Ohio will take you.
Awesome, but I really wanted to thank.
She's fine. She's in California.
Uh-oh.
No. Zoom will let us connect.
With digital, we don't have geography to limit us.
No
We're
more
together.
But I wanted to thank everybody for letting me even talk right now.
Hey.
And thank you for your stories and motivation. It's very inspiring. And I will continue doing my part here in the Central Valley for our Latinos.
Fabulous, fabulous. So welcome, and you definitely already have a story. We just need to hear it and keep projecting it.
Caroline, as we wrap up, do you have any final things you want to say? And then we'll go to Luis and then Ana, because I know it's 3:17.
Well, I'm going to say that the inaugural has happened. You know, it was a dream of us from way back, from when we started at the national level with this committee, different day for a committee. And Alicia probably knows the history of that, but you know, it takes that one step to go to the next one and the next one. So I'm going to say, you know, we need to just put a check mark and to say, okay, what's next? I think we inspired a few more people. We made more partnerships. And for me, it's like, okay, let's get back to the drawing board and see, what do we learn from this one? How do we do this? And not wait for a whole year, but how do we engage it in our work? How do we take the ideas and the organizations that people represented, and how to get to our committee work to present it to the board? And Alicia can be our voice at the board because she has a strong voice everywhere. So that's what I have to say here. Luis, what are your thoughts?
Luis, you're on mute. You can't read the lips.
Sorry. I had it on anyways. So thank you again. I'm going to keep my comments short because I'll just repeat what I said earlier. I don't know how many people heard me say it, but I've been blessed by being surrounded by pretty much all my life by chingonas. And I have to say that I feel like I am now at another level, a super chingona level, where I think, you know, we need to really recognize what Latina women in particular can do when they work together and where we all work together. But I'm just so proud to be part of the crew that supports and uplifts voices. I'm not ready to retire or anything, but I'm super excited about the young people getting excited because, you know, I know LULAC is nearing 100 years. It has the keys to many doors. And if we do this right, we can use this organization to support the efforts that it was born on, the purpose and the DNA of what LULAC was all about in the beginning, but can be rebirthed because of these young, wonderful people that are ready to take on the world. And I want to support them.
Thank you. Ana?
Yeah, you know, si se pudo, right? Yeah, you know, those, you know, sometimes you see things being so far, and then, you know, when they come to you, oh, they're here now, you know, but definitely, I really like to congratulate Caroline and Letty and Luis. I mean, your work has been extraordinary.
It's yours, my dear.
Right. So, but, you know, but I mean, you were in this one day to day, minute to minute. Well, we all support each other, which is true. You know, and I think it has been, you know, my pleasure to be part of this family. This is first a micro family that we have, and now, you know, an extended family that we have created. Okay, so, you know, that's really what. But definitely, our next step is you know, is continue to doing the work that we do and expanding and then making sure that we incorporate more work at the local level, as Luis has indicated, and then, you know, at the regional level, just to elevate our voices to the national level.
I'd like to say thank you to Julia and Abril and Griselda, who's not on here right now. Caroline brought in an additional army to help, and we couldn't have done it without you guys. And so if you each would love to say something, Julia and Abril, and if any of you two want to say something for Griselda, feel free to voice that.
They were amazing.
So ladies, Julia, would you like to go?
I would like to say that I look forward to next year.
We've
learned a lot. There you go.
Next year, and then we're going to do mini sessions during the quarters. But yes, thank you. We definitely learned, and we're ready. Abril, thank you for the bottom of our hearts that you guys were part of this, and you represent why we do what we do.
Abril?
No, this was great. Always happy to be a part of it. Julia, this was really her. So I definitely just want to also you know, elevate that she did a lot of the organizing. So,
oh my God.
so lots of the thank you should be sent her way.
And she was sick one day. And then I would love to bring Dr. Carol.
Dr. Joseph Carol Miranda. Yeah. He rocks. Come on. Let us hear you.
De Puerto Rico.
De Puerto Rico.
¡Que viva Puerto Rico!
¡Viva Puerto Rico! ¿Dónde está mi bandera?
¡Que la boricua de Ohio!
Yeah, we don't die, we just multiply. That's how we are. We're everywhere. And I have music inside me right now, and I have this song I used to listen to a lot when I was a bit younger, and what I feel the special moment, the Guisco Kairos, right? That is that right time with the right conditions. A lot of good things can happen, and so what it had to happen somewhere. It had to happen somehow. What better place than here? What better time than now? So I agree with Julia. Let's adelante, you know, pa'lante, siempre pa'lante. Let's do this y a ver qué viene y a trabajar.
Another thing I want to say and add today is I saw a lot of Puerto Rico, and I want to thank everybody that brought Puerto Rico into the mix, being that I'm Puerto Rican, I'm proud, born in Chicago, but I'm like, just Caroline, Luis, Ana, everybody. It was wonderful to see Puerto Rico be present, because most of the time it's not brought to the table. And this time was different, even from the SBA. The woman, Associate Administrator Bibi Hidalgo, is going to Puerto Rico next week. And to follow up, because Administrator Isabela Guzman was there 2 months ago. So I just want to say thank you. And I'd love to also thank Jorge.
Oh, yes, Jorge.
Yes, Jorge.
God,
Thank you, Jorge.
Yes, our gratitude, Jorge.
Crazy.
Gracias, Jorge.
Evening, weekends, crazy texting from all of us. we are really very, very grateful. Thank you.
Okay, do you want to say a few words? Good words. It's almost done. Okay, he's not responding, so I'm not sure if he's by the.
Well, we know he's there and we know he's taking care of all of us behind the scenes.
Oh, he said gracias.
Oh, sí,
Yeah,
gracias.
gracias, yeah.
So with that, I think we are going to be, are we a little bit over?
We got 6 minutes if anybody
Okay.
wants to bring anything up.
Yeah.
And the LULAC Women's Conference is coming up too.
Yes, next week.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah,
Yes.
and the convention in Puerto Rico in July. So maybe we'll see each other.
I'm going out to Puerto Rico. And then
And with our,
It's not a bad place to be and to go.
and with our movement, actually, Joseph is here in Illinois from Puerto Rico. Talk about Puerto Rico everywhere. Puerto Rico's everywhere. Dr. Carmen Ayala was from Puerto Rico. Is from Puerto Rico. So we're planning a trip to get our CS movement for Latinos, bringing what was all the successes of Puerto Rico, the talent, the ideas, the lessons learned, all of those things. So yeah, Puerto Rico is going to be continue to be very close with us. So
Caroline, we need to do a mini meeting of LatinxDLN with the summit. So it's right there partnered up like a day or two before. And then there's the LULAC conference, and we get to enjoy Puerto Rico with Dr. Joseph for a longer period of time.
So start making your plans for the travel to Puerto Rico in mid-July.
Right, and
you have some
by the
mofongo
way,
ready?
Puerto Rico has surprised the entire country and is leading in the vaccination effort.
Is that right?
So it's number one.
Wow.
All right.
Right. Right.
And we wear a mask in public, even if you're fully vaccinated. It's like a habit now, regardless.
So LULAC includes everyone, and now some people think it started in Texas, just Mexicanos or Tejanos, but no, Puerto Rico,
Venezolana.
I'm mixing my languages here. Venezolanos here. So all walks of life, all backgrounds, all voices, and so the opportunity is huge. The challenges are many, but let's look at these opportunities. And thank you to our boss as a committee, to Roman Palomares, who
thank you,
been
Roman.
there every step of the way, to the staff who stepped in, to Bill Moreno, to Cindy Benavides, to the partner, Heartland Forward, Domingo Garcia, the great national president, Domingo Garcia, who appointed us to do the work, not just to sit there and wait. So there's just so many,
Jorge, thank you.
Pardon me?
Jorge.
Jorge, of course, yes.
I wish you guys.
I don't have anything to add. I'm gonna just leave it to you.
I wish you guys were at my house, because my son, who's a veteran, is coming into Illinois today, and you guys would smell that I started a lechon this morning. My whole house.
Oh.
Lechon, there's arroz.
Nos debes esa, Letty, okay? Nos debes esa.
Pero estoy diciendo,
We're on our way.
but you guys got left. On top of doing the summit, I've been cooking since 6 a.m.
Talk about Latina women.
God bless
That's
you.
what we do.
I'm going to take a snapshot of the screen. So
Yes, everybody smile. Everybody
Okay.
smile.
1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you.
All
Okay,
right.
so I think the next thing, guys, is connect with us if you're not connected with us, and let us know how we can bring you onto something or answer your questions. And then we're gonna have quarterly events. It's something that we're working on and we're excited about. I think all of us should give one action word that'll take us to the 330 point. One word that you think is so powerful that you can share. And I'll start with mine, and I'll say unstoppable.
Now.
Con ganas.
Chingonas.
That has been the word of the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Connections.
There's orgullo in the chat.
Right.
Hace comunidad.
Amor.
Familia.
And it says campeonas.
Yes. Yes.
Juntos.
Juntos. Love it.
Well, we'll be planning for the quarter one, not to this level. This will be annual, but many sessions and definitely. And I want to congratulate Abril and Julia for becoming LULAC council members this week of our local council in Illinois. So as they're learning, when they join us with one, they're on all the different hats, and Lana knows that very well. So we want them to be in a leadership role for us in having this summit to go on. Bringing their work, their business, their energy, their movements, so that this is why we're here. To bring people like Abril, Julia, Deidre, and let them be at the driver's seat, and for us to be, there when we're needed.
Yeah.
And I want to.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say I wanted to extend the invitation to you all for our LULAC Ohio conference in April. So I'll be in touch.
Hey, there we go. I was just going to say, Anna, I think I saw your hand. Did you want to say something?
No, I thought, that we were just saying goodbye because it's 3:30.
I just wanted to say something real quick that, in the 60s, the saying was that the revolution will be televised. But I think in this days, where the revolution is going to be over Zoom.
It's Zoomicized.
Digitized. The revolution will be digitized. The revolution will be
digitized. You're right. So
Adios, everybody.
Nos vemos.
Enjoy
your lección. Bye-bye.
Que vaya bien.
Bye-bye.